Oh, hello. Today, this is my sponsor, beer. And if you'd like to help sponsor me, I'd love it. Anyway, I'm going to do lamb chops over here. These are shoulder chops. And I'm going to do lamb ribs. This is requested by one of my patrons. One of the people that have subscribed to me, and I appreciate you very much. This is going to go down with, I'm going to cut some creases into this fat so it'll help render it. There's a lot of fat on this one. It's going to render it. Then I'm going to put the spices on it, which is, I'm going to give it a rub of oregano, rosemary, thyme, salt, pepper, garlic, sugar, all-purpose, and instant coffee. So come back in a couple minutes, and my binder's going to be mustard Dijon. So we're going to bring you back in a couple seconds after I get this cut the way I need it to cut, and we're going to throw some of that rub on there, and we're going to go right on to the chops. So stay tuned. This is the binder. It's Dijon mustard. Doesn't take a bunch. The mustard goes a long ways. It's just a binder. So I'm going to rub this into this lamb. And I got to tell you, I'm only doing this because you asked me to do it. I'm not a big fan of lamb, but I've never actually had lamb ribs. So I'm just going to go ahead and go with it and see how well it turns out. Maybe I've been missing out on something. I don't know. That's what I'm hoping. If not, I got a bunch of boys at work that just love to eat my barbecue. But we'll see. This actually looks pretty good.
And what's been our experience with lamb?
It's been yes and no. For years it's been, hey, this ain't bad, and then you go buy the exact same thing, cook it the exact same way, and you're like,
But it's because we froze it.
yeah, that could be.
I think if it's fresh, it's good. If it's been frozen, it changes the flavor of it.
That's Mrs. Bigfoot Barbecue speaking there. Yeah, we actually bought some looked like pork steak type of cuts of lamb some years ago, and couldn't get over it. The lamb was so cheap, couldn't get over how delicious it was. And then we made it the same way after that, and just I gave some to her sister and her husband years ago, and they took it home, ate it, and called us and said, "I ain't never eating that again." So, okay, now I got my binder on there. I think what I'll do is I'll start on this with the bony side up, and I'm going to go ahead and take this rub, and I'm going to be real generous with it. I'm going to get it rubbed in. I'm going to rub it in both sides. And folks, let me tell you something. Incorporate instant coffee into some of your rubs. I learned that from the Bearded Butcher. Those guys have their own and rub, and it has instant coffee in it. And so I thought I'd try it, and it is amazing. I just want to make sure all of this is going to go on there. This will help incorporate a good bark. I really hope this turns out good. I just watched Malcolm Reed do them, since I've never done them, on his channel. But I'm not copying him. His rub is different. Each person can make something their own. That fat is going to suck that up in there. And we're going to give this half an hour. I still got to prepare those chops. So, and we did make some great regular chops this year that were wonderful of the lamb. So if you just give me a couple minutes, we'll come back and I'll prepare the chops. And then just stay tuned, and we're going to go ahead and get the barbecue going, the coals going. I'm going to use cherry wood. It's my favorite wood out of the fruit woods when it comes to beef, and I believe that's what I used when I did the lamb this summer. You can over smoke, so make sure that you use it in small amounts and wait till your smoke is gone. You can wait a couple minutes if you don't see any more smoke. Your meat is still cooking and you still have that flavor, but smoke ring can only go so far. The smoke can only penetrate so far into your meat. So you don't want to really over smoke it. You just want a good, I'll actually smoke it for better than an hour before I just let the coals take over. So I'm going to put this on for 2 hours. Then I'm going to wrap it for probably an hour, maybe less, because these aren't as big as pork. And then put it back on just to get a nice crust going on it. So I appreciate you guys coming along with me. Cheers. And the word from our sponsor is beer. And who doesn't like beer? My wife. But yeah, her beer is spelled W-I-S, something like that. It starts with a W, or I don't know, W-H, W-I, I don't know. Anyway, stay tuned with me. I appreciate you. And we're going to see if we can't make this delicious. These have been rubbed with the Dijon. I'm going to put a little rosemary, fresh rosemary on these, every one of them. Rosemary, I hear, goes really good on lamb. It sounds like it would, because my wife makes an awesome rosemary beef steak. That's one of my favorite things she makes. And this is good. This came out of our garden, by the way. She just went out there and got it. So happy. I'm only going to put it on one side. And that's the biggest. Well, shoot. Okay. I'm going to go ahead and put a little bit more on this guy here. Be careful with rosemary, because you can overwhelm things. Not quite like basil, but you can. Okay. This is a different rub. This is salt and pepper, a little bit of coffee, and I believe a little bit of AP rub. And I'm just going to coat that up real nice. I appreciate you guys giving me all the thumbs up and all that. It makes a difference. It makes me want to do it. And I think with this lamb, I might just, yeah, I'll go ahead and do both sides. Just don't want to lose my rosemary. This will suck that rosemary flavoring into it. This is a different kind. This is more of a shoulder blade kind of neck pieces. Right now it's really hard to get lamb, so I was just kind of stunned. It always seems to be always plentiful in the stores. Wow. Hopefully I'm not boring you guys to death. Salt and pepper and all. This is basically a real fatty piece, that one I just did, which is fine with me. And these are going to sit for a bit. I'm going to do these after. And this over here, this is New York steak. My wife found, Mrs. Bigfoot Barbecue found a New York roast for about $30 some, and I got 6 steaks out of it. So that's how we like to do it. I won't make a roast out of such a delicious piece of meat. I'll make a steak. So and then I got lamb scraps and stuff. We feed our dog fresh meat and vegetables, and it keeps your allergies away on your dog. So again, I appreciate each and every one of you. Now let's get to cooking. Hey, welcome back. I've just pulled these beautiful looking ribs off the barbecue. So all I did was take it off, put some beef broth on here, some all-purpose rub. I'm going to wrap it up, put it back on the barbecue. Going to do both of them the same way. Sure did shrink a lot, but very moist. I'm going to cut a piece of this lamb. Very fatty. It's very moist though. It's that top fatty layer. Take a little bite of that. Wow. Wow. So I'm gonna go with oh man. Here we go. Man. Oh. That is I can't believe how good this is. I can't wait for you to try this. This is Bigfoot. I cannot get over how good this is. I got a nice burn on the ends. Good separation. Oh, I gotta have another one. Oh my gosh. And this fat is good. God. Well, I appreciate that little challenge. Hi. So let's see what happens here. This is really good lamb. These are the neck and the other portion type of stuff. I teriyaki this on the barbecue. I took a good taste. I really, really like it, so I'm going to start incorporating more lamb into what I do. Thank you for watching. It's all been delicious.